Okay, so this is the Chapter 1 review exercises from the club textbook, looking at earnings. So the first question, Tom's monthly pay is $7,867.60. Calculate his weekly pay. Now this looks like a really simple question, but people every year will make a massive mistake here. And what people want to do is say, well, there's about 4 weeks in a month. So people want to get that monthly pay and just divide it by 4. But you're going to be wrong. Because there's not exactly 4 weeks in a month. It's always 31 days or 30 days, with the exception, of course, of February when you have the 28. So for these questions, what you need to do is turn it into an annual pay first and then go back to get your weekly. So in this case, we're going to go 7,867.6. That's my monthly pay. So I'm going to times it by 12. There's exactly 12 months in a year. That would give me my yearly pay. I don't even need to calculate that first, but that at the moment would be my annual pay. And then I know there's 52 weeks in the year exactly, so if I divide that by 52, that would bring me back to my weekly pay, which in this case would be, I'm just going to hang on, just run that through my calculator. And so we would want it with a weekly pay of $1,815. 0.6 my calculator comes up with. Now don't forget, this is the next mistake that people make. You will get penalised in an ATAR course. If it's currency, it's dollars and cents, so I should have 2 decimals. That 0, even though it doesn't change anything, does mean something, so we should, in the context of that kind of question, make sure we do put a second decimal place in. Okay, so that was the first one. The second one's much the same. Calculate Sonia's monthly pay if her weekly pay is that. So again, people want to go, well, there's roughly 4 weeks. They want to get that and times it out by 4. But you will be wrong because there is not exactly 4 weeks. So what you need to do is, again, turn it into an annual pay, so 847.38. Times it by, that was weekly, so I'm going to times it by 52 to turn it into an annual pay. So that initial bit is her annual. And then I would then divide that by 12 to turn it into a monthly one. And so when I do that, I would wind up with $3,671.98 per month. Okay. Question 3, Ken's monthly salary is $8,424. If his salary was to be paid fortnightly, how much will he receive? So again, for the same reasons, we can't just divide by 2. People say roughly there's 2 fortnights. There is roughly, but it is rough, it's not exact. And so what you need to do is to turn it first into an annual amount. So 8,424 per month. So timesing that by 12 will turn it into an annual amount. And then dividing that out, so you don't actually need the brackets, but I'll put them in there just so that you can mentally remember what you're doing. So that first one was your annual payment. And then dividing that by 26, because we know there's 26 fortnights in a year, would give me $3,888 per fortnight. Okay, question 4. Jackie receives a net monthly salary of $1,666 after a tax deduction of 32% of her gross monthly salary. And the first question is calculate a gross monthly salary. Now, what people want to do, again, so this is where I'm sort of focusing on mistakes, but that's what we see every year. What people want to do is kind of get that 32% and say, okay, well, I've taken 32% off. So what people want to do is get that 32%, find 32% of what she had and add it back on. But that will be wrong, because what you'd be doing is you'd be finding 32% of the smaller amount, the after tax amount, not 32% of the original amount, which we know was more. And so what you have to do is go back to sort of thinking about what would the process be had I known all the information. So had I known her gross pay, so if I put GP for gross pay, I would have gotten her gross pay, and to take off the 32% tax, I would have times her pay by 1 take the 0.32, or if you're not good with that, the percentage over 100, so 32 over 100. And after I did that process, my answer to that would have been the 1,666. So if I was to rewrite that, I've got gross pay times 0. So I've lost my 32%, which means I'm keeping 68%. So when you process that bracket, you would have had a multiplier of 0.68, and that would have equaled my 1666. To get the gross pay on its own, I need to shift the 0.68. I was timesing by the 0.68, so when I move it, I'm instead going to divide. So my final answer, and I haven't got a lot of space here, but I'm basically going to move that, and that's going to become divide by 0.68. So I will be shifting that, moving it over, and when you do that, you'll wind up with an answer of $2,450 as her gross monthly salary. Again, B is just the same trick question. They now want you to turn that into a weekly, so do not divide it by 4. Make sure you turn it into an annual salary first, and then so you'd go 2,450 gross times 12 to turn it into an annual amount, and then divide that by 52 to turn it accurately back into a weekly one. So in this case, 2,450 times my 12 would give me 29,400. Oops, hang on, I think I've lost my spot there. I'll just do it again on another calculator. So I've got 2,450, timesing it by 12 to give me 29,400, then dividing that by 52 would give me a weekly pay of $565.38. The answer actually says 0.3846 yada yada yada, but again, I need to round that, and watch that you round carefully, because you'll lose half a mark per error on rounding. So correctly, you should go to 2 decimal places, no more, no less. The annual tax amount. So this is not annual earnings, but how much actual tax has she paid? So there's 2 ways you can calculate this. Probably the easiest way, having worked out her gross pay of 2,450, take away what we know is her net pay. So the difference, what we've taken out, was the tax. So when I do that, that was my tax per month. So per month. And then I would times that by 12 to turn it into an annual tax amount. So basically she was paying $784 per month, and then timesing that out by the 12 months would give me $9,408 per year per annum on tax. Now, the other way you could have done that was to get the gross salary. So if you did her, so I'll put I'll change colours maybe. So I could have gone, well, her gross salary was 2,450 per month, so times 12 months, and then that would give you her total pay, and you're timesing her total pay by the 32%. You want 32% off, and that, of course, would give you the same answer. So it doesn't matter which working you show, as long as you've shown some, so that you get your full marks. Net annual salary is simple. Again, they already have told you that the net monthly earnings is 1,666. So net annual means I'm just going to times that by 12, and I'll leave you to do that one. Okay, I might do the rest on another video.